Hey guys, Jin Graves here. So my camera keeps going back, so if you guys see it like fall over and you get a shot of the ceiling, I'm sorry about that. Um, but anyway, so I decided to make this video for one of my very good friends, um, Migs, Migsy. So just saw it. I know you brought me up a lot in that video. Um, so I'm not sure where to start. um, because this video is for you, but I'm also trying to make it for the rest of you guys as well. Too. Um, so it is true. I do have a huge collection, and it is because let me move this back up, guys. It's starting to really fall down. Um, I do have a big collection and everything. That is due to obviously a lot of stuff, different things like that, as far as a timeline kind of thing. Like you can see when I got into it, what was basically there, different things like that, what series I was able to complete, other things like that. There's just a lot of different stuff to it. So for that, I totally understand, and especially because you're one of my rivals, wink. Um, but you do have to focus on some of the stuff as far as it is. Like you were talking about with stress and stuff. And guys, I don't want to hurt any of y'all's feelings or anything, but if you have to say that collecting and stuff doesn't stress you out, then you're probably not in the buying game to actually support that author or writer, whoever it is that you're getting your manga from. Um, and you're probably reading scans and stuff. So I'm sorry for saying that to y'all, but it is true. But at the same point, with that, if you're not stressed out, you're not playing the game right. At least a little stress, stress in moderation. Um, so going with that though, Migs, I guess I'm gonna jump back between you and the community. It is stressful. It is totally a stressful game. But I think you have to sit there and think about it. And I heard you say you were going to start doing pre-orders and all that other stuff. I agree with you. It's a much easier way doing things at the front than trying to get it from the back. Start with older stuff, move forward like that. Because then like this isn't going to end on you, or anything like that. You still have that stress that's there, that maybe the manga will go on hiatus and it'll stop and you won't get to finish it, or something like that. There's always something that's going to somehow be a little bit stressful for you, or something to that extent. We're moving again in the phone department. I put a book behind it and it started moving again. But yeah, I mean, it's stressful no matter how you look at it. It's going to be stressful no matter how you look at it. Let me put this on top of I put a volume of manga behind it trying to hold it up. So hopefully, I think that just made it worse. Oh well. Maybe, there we go. I had to close the phone a little more. So I mean, like I said though, in that department it is a little intense. You still get to enjoy that series. You still get to have the good memories and everything from that series, from where it is up until it ends. Whether it goes on hiatus, different stuff like that. And a good example for me was D Gray Man. D Gray Man is totally an example of that, and it got all the way up to I think it was volume 23 and hiatused out on me. And then they came back and had 24, and now we haven't had another one come out yet. I mean, that's just part of the game that you have to play. That is totally, totally stressful. But I will tell you, as far as going forward with it, you do get that. And it's kind of a commitment thing when it comes to it. Now, I feel like one of the ways that you kind of went overboard, bud, is trying to get too many too fast at once. There are series that I went out there like that. There are little ones that I see here and there, like Initial D. Lohali holds it over my head all the time, as far as Rave Master, stuff like that. Things that I really enjoy, and I got to read them or watch the anime, and I want to show my support and get it. I also want to get it and read the story. Other things like that. Things that are, fun for me, all that other stuff. And so, with that though, like I said, it's a commitment thing. Whenever you are sitting there and looking for an old series, even if it is an older series that is currently finished, it just currently got done, you never know when it's going to come off the market. Right now, I'm waiting, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't happen as fast as, I mean, sometimes you know how fast it happens with them ending a series and then them not having any more printings of it. And I mean, like you said, with the whole list thing, yes. And that changes a lot. Dorohedoro was on my list and it was lower down, and that's the one that I'm telling you now, like, probably when I get my next check or whatever, I'm probably going to just buy the whole thing of Dorohedoro. Dorohedoro. Yeah. It sounded weird. I'm pretty sure I put door in there somewhere a couple times. So that's one of the ones that I want. And for me, as far as it goes, which is another little stressor thing, I do feel dumb that I didn't buy it earlier. I felt dumb that I didn't buy Terraformers earlier. So both of those, expect to see those in some future hauls before the end of the year, or at least the beginning of the year, something like that. But that's kind of the thing with it. You have to play your cards right, figure out when you're going to do this, when you're not, different stuff like that. And let me give you a quote. So there's one of my favorite quotes, and it reflects in my life. It reflects being a manga tuber or anything. It is, wherever you go, go with all your heart. And so, for me, being a manga tuber, all that other stuff, I try and, to the biggest extent, give you guys full attention. Try and give you guys basically a lot of input. If you ask a question, I try and answer it to the best of my ability. So, when it comes to buying a series, and I mean, you're not going to be able to do it with everyone, every series. I mean, it's virtually impossible depending on your income, different things like that. Like I've told people before, I'm of average income. So, it's years. That's why my collection is so big. There's not a golden goose or a golden egg laying goose that's out in the back of my house somewhere and I sell off the eggs, you know. There's nothing like that. It's you staying in the groove, you knowing exactly what's coming and all that other stuff. You know, you have to roll with basically everything like that. So in doing that, whenever you find an older series that you like, focus on that. I mean, focus on your current stuff, but also you say, I want, I'm trying to think of one that you recently got that I want. Freezing. Freezing is one. I think a couple of them are already out of print, but it's also not high on my list yet. When I get there, then I'm going to have to turn around and I'm going to have to get those ones that aren't and then try and figure out how to do it. I had something happen like that with Knights of Sidonia. You know, I found good prices. I bought the ones off of Right Stuff. I found out I was the last person to buy the last ones from Right Stuff of certain volumes of that. But I was still missing 4. So when it came down to it, I still had my pre-orders going. But instead of buying a new series, I decided to see if I could find somebody else's on eBay or something like that. You know, whatever the best option was for me, finding it and getting it, that's kind of what I went with. You know, as far as that goes, I do agree with you. If it is more expensive or anything like that, it is kind of a waste of time. Trying to do that, you know, maybe we can talk on Twitter or something. After, I'm planning on moving at the beginning of the year. Maybe after that, we can see if we can work out a deal of, if you see anything on eBay, sending it to me, or if there's another manga tuber that can do it ahead of time, anything like that, getting it sent to them and holding on to it for a little while until you get so many volumes and then put it in a bigger box, because it makes the rate go down for how many they have to send, you know, for all that stuff. So there are some of those for ideas, especially that I feel like some people haven't really thought about that or whatever, because it would make it easier for you if to cut down part of that price and everything like that. So going from there, you know, I do have a sandwich technique for reading to help you stop your burnout from reading manga, different stuff like that. And me and Amaskio J actually talked about it and everything, and it was a long time ago. I think still back when Amaskio J had his Star, Wing, and Hawking video, or that was his YouTube name. He had a second channel, and I think it was back then. And me and Amaskio J started doing it and talking about it, and he brought up to me, you know, I wish there was an easier way to figure out how to do it for buying manga. And so I went in and I looked at it and I tried to tweak it as best I could. I think I have another video on here probably way back when. If you look up sandwich method, I'm sure there will be a couple different ones that pop up. I'm not sure which one is the reading one and which one is the buying one. But I mean, you can use that kind of technique with everything when you think about it. So it all just kind of goes with that. Series that not everybody gets into because the shine isn't there for it just yet. You know, for me, there are a couple that I do know, just from this year being a manga tuber and everything, that has colossally changed the appearance of it altogether. And that's A Silent Voice. That's number 1. And number 2 is Slam Dunk. Those are 2. I collected them maybe 2-3 years ago, stuff like that. Well, it's hit another boom, and now everybody wants it. Everybody's collecting Slam Dunk. Everybody is getting a silent voice, different things like that. But when I got them, it was like there wasn't anybody else out there wanting to get them. So I didn't really have any competition with buying those manga or anything. So it's kind of an at point in time kind of thing as well. If there's one that you're interested in, like I said with the quote, go with all your heart, then get it. You know, that's kind of how I do my pre-orders, is if it sounds good, the book art looks good, things like that, then I'll get it. Some of them, they didn't look good to me on the first sight. Like I said, Dorohedoro did not seem like it was that super interesting for me to drop everything that I had before. Terraformers was high on my list. It just wasn't there on my list because of whatever reason. So now they're both out, you know, they're both at their end, and now I'm kind of like, why didn't I get this one before? You know, now that I'm reading some of the older volumes, descriptions, and different stuff like that, like, this sounds like a really cool series. What at that time didn't make me want to get it? So that's where, like I said earlier, some of the stress comes in at. You can't always pinpoint exactly when it is, but you also have to go with your gut feeling and everything else when it comes to that. I would highly recommend that even though you're changing your manga buying game and everything else like that, that you still complete some of those older series. A lot of older series that I have are gems to me. Either the story, something came out of it, and it was great. For that, I would probably say No Longer Human. And I mean, it's just, some of it's crazy though. Like you kind of mentioned too, you can tell different parts of a person's manga collection. If they've stopped, if they completed anything, if they did this, if they did that, how well do they focus on their collection? There's a lot you can tell by somebody's collection. How much do they care about it? Different things like that. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to it. And like I said, I mean, I've collected since I was 14, but there were breaks in there. And some of that is stuff you wouldn't really be able to know. And it was, I didn't complete a series, so I went back and I got the books to complete that series. Plus Anima was one of those. There's some other ones in there, but you know, it goes with it whenever you look at somebody's collection. And when you look at it, like I said, ones that you want, what's the one that I've kept my eye out for you for so long? Message? No. Letters. I think that's what it is. Letters to Adolf. I think that's what it is. You know, and if that's a series that you really want, sometimes you have to bite the bullet on it. Rave Master, I will tell you, I've been looking at it the past 2 months with no avail. And then somehow this month, there's 3 of them on eBay that people put up there and said, I'm putting my collection up, selling it for like $250. Stuff like that. And that is a whole lot. I will totally agree with that, especially with the pre-order game. You have to know that you have this much coming out, and then you have to know that this is what you have left over. What all do you have to do? You have to put gas in your car. You have to do this, and then sit there and tell yourself, I can save $20 here. Hold on to it. I can do this, save a little more. All that. And just keep yourself on the roll with that, knowing that you have this little piggy bank allowance that you've held on to do stuff like that. Um, like I said, those are on my list. I will probably end up biting the bullet, or whatever weird thing that you would put in there for a metaphor. And I will most likely end up getting Rave Master or something like that. Um, and I'm not sure. I mean, from there, you know, the condition's not always what you want with every volume, different stuff like that. I might have to buy two different collections and figure out where to go from there, and then figure out how to sell off other ones, different stuff like that. I mean, I've had 4 books for the other Knights of Sidonia ones because I couldn't buy them individually. I found a great deal on buying it as a whole, and that's what I did. That's the sacrifice I did was, um, and I got it for a great deal, but I had already bought 10 of the volumes, and I think I needed 5 left. And they were going to cost me a lot individually, so I had to buy the whole collection for like $150. Um, great thing. I got the 5 volumes I needed, but now I have 10 volumes that are just sitting there. I can sell them. So if you need any of those, I do have some, but it's not going to be like the 5 like super hard ones that you can't find hardly ever. Um, but I do have the other 10. So that's kind of the thing too, is which ones that you have, which ones you could find, how you can find them, all that other stuff too. And that's, like I said earlier, with the community. Guys, if you're not the remotely bit stressed about purchasing manga, you're either not one of the people that want to be a big collector or know about being a big collector as far as buying it, um, or you read scans. A lot of scans. Because there's not any way to get around some of these issues. Some of them, it's stuff that just happens, and everything is built on each other entirely. Finances, time, like what they say with houses, location, 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 same thing. Manga is kind of where it is at the time, how long it's been out, um, you know, how many volumes and stuff it is, finances, all that other stuff, and it can be stressful sometimes. And, I have to say that I totally agree, with a lot of you guys on some things that you said, though, with our boy Migs. Um, you know, but it's true. He did get swept up in it, bud. You did. On getting them and everything. But, like I said, you shouldn't stop getting them, though. You should just find time to get them. Focus on one of them. If you somehow find that opportunity to, you go to a secondhand store and you in your town or wherever, and you find some of the ones that you need, get them. But to sit there and basically be like a shotgun and just blow out everywhere and try and figure out what to do, that's where you kind of hurt yourself in the long run when it comes down to all of that. Because we're not ever guaranteed a series all the way, any of that other stuff. And a lot of the times, like Mick said, guys, a lot of the times, and like I said, with having a collection, how you can know the person so well. There's a lot of them I get from Toaster Cat that I didn't even know, like, about a certain series or whatever. Once you have the series, you don't really focus on what's the state of it. Especially, like I said, as a collector, if you're going to keep it and you're not in the reselling game, you don't know any of that. I'm not in the reselling game, so I don't really look at anything. But like I said, I find a lot of my stuff out from Toaster Cat. Toaster Cat will sit there and put a series on there, talking about how much it was because it's a series that he looked up and oh my god, it's this much. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, No Longer Human, Van Helsing, different ones like that. Not Van Helsing, Helsing. Those ones I never would have picked. That they were going out of print, that they would never be hard to find. I never thought about it. To me, when I was younger, buying them at the time and all that, it was, oh, they have like 4 of each volume. You're not going to have to worry about this. That's how it was when I started collecting, 13, 12 or 13 years ago. So you never really know any of that. And so that's just kind of where part of this is. It is totally a time-consuming game. You guys did have good advice, though, on some of it, as far as before you jump into it, Migs, read a Scantron or something like that. I don't do that. I don't read scans at all. I did kind of back in the day, but though I only usually read scans that we weren't ever planning on getting here printed or anything. I've never heard of the printing, different stuff like that. Ares is one of those, if you've read that one. It's a very long medieval war manga. So, I mean, there's a lot. But you just got to stay focused on it, figure out what it is, and move forward from there. Take it in strides, moderation, whatever, and just move forward with it. And I think if you do that, I mean, you already got the collecting skill down. You're not going to have to worry about anything else, so that's about it. I think you got this in the bag, Migs. You are not going to have to worry about anything now that you have that in your mind. You've seen it, because I guarantee you almost every manga tuber has went through that. If they haven't, the fall is going to be that much worse for them. Especially not experiencing that. And it, like I said, it is very stressful. Whenever you realize that there's going to be a series that you're probably never going to get, or you're going to have to be a millionaire to afford the series. There's stuff like that. Mushishi, different ones like that, where every volume is expensive as heck. It happens. So I'm almost done. I'll tell you one more little thing that happened with me. Same instance. Fruits Basket. And it kind of happened in reverse for me. I thought that I was going to be able to get Fruits Basket, and I bought them all. I think I got them all $5 a piece. I was like, ooh, this is super cheap for these ones. Ones that usually were about $8 or $10 a volume. So I found those, I bought them all, and I found out that there were 4 or 5 of them I was going to have to get, and each one was going to cost me maybe $30. Some of them $25. I mean, it ranged crazy, all over the place. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna. I did the same thing. I quit. I'm done. I'm not going to look for these. I might look every couple of weeks and see if I can find a good deal or something on eBay or Amazon or something. But I'm done. I'm not going in and I'm not looking for these volumes anymore. I mean, it was stressful. And long and behold, 6 months later or whenever, they had the new printings of the big editions of the omnibuses for Fruits Basket that came out. So I have that option, which will probably be what happens of me getting the bigger ones and maybe trying to sell the other ones off as a collective group together, or individually, something like that. Putting it in a lot, maybe as a random mystery giveaway, different stuff like that. Giving it to a friend that wants to try and go through that struggle, just something like that. And that was the only one that I've had anything like that happen to me. But there are those people out there that you look for a series and there's no hope of it getting a reprinting. There's nothing there that you can hope for because it's not going to happen. So I'm just glad that was a series that I had picked that now has the omnibuses. I do have that option to buy them instead of stressing over looking for the other stuff. So, but yeah, that is about everything that I can tell you. Community and Migs. But keep up the good work. You got this in the bag. Community, you guys are great people all the time. Sometimes you gotta be hard on us manga tubers because we get caught up in our own games and never see the light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know how to get out of the hole, or sometimes like a dog or whatever with our head in a paper bag, we don't know how to get it off or get out. So sometimes you have to hear the hard truth. So anyway though, guys, thanks for watching this. I have some other videos I have to do. I just wanted to do this one in response to Migs' video. I know you said my name like I think 5 or 6 times, Migs. So I felt that I needed to do a video for you and the community. Just different stuff like that. So anyway, guys, thanks for being great. Migs, thanks for coming back. I was waiting. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. All that other stuff. And I will catch you guys later. I'm Jen Graves. Like I said, I guess I'm going to be blasting off away. Oh yeah, so one more thing on there, and this is for Migs, or anything like that. Message me on Twitter or something like that. Let me know, and we can exchange numbers or something like that. And maybe after I get the moving done and everything, we can figure out some way, if you do go on eBay or wherever, that it still won't fully help you with the whole shipping costing a lot issue. But at least if we can get all those little packages and stuff put together and then put them into a big box or anything like that, then we can at least figure out how to go from there, get you some of these series that you want that are harder to find, different stuff like that. So anyway, though, guys, I will catch all of you later. Thanks for watching again. Bye.